Hello, today is our second close read of the Aerospace Science text or speech. We're going to look at essential question number 1, how do readers know what to believe? And essential question number 4, what is informational text really about? As we participate in this close read, keep in mind what your focus needs to be as you close read the text. With this assignment, we are looking at reading it 3 times. The first time is for what the text says. So as you read through this section of text, please keep in mind that you're reading it to learn what's happening, to look specifically at content. So as you read, looking specifically at content, please read over the text and then create an objective summary of the excerpt. Make sure you include information from the beginning, middle, and end. Do not copy the words within the text, but put it into your own words, which is the point of a summary. As you participate in this phase of reading, you'll be looking at learning target number 5 to create an objective summary of the text. Make sure that your objective summary includes only the facts and does not embed any of your personal opinions. In the second phase of reading, you're going to be reading for how the text says it. As you read for how the text says it, you're going to be rereading the entire excerpt, focusing on how JFK distinguishes his position from that of others. So looking at his perspective or his point of view versus those of the others around them. Please make sure you cite text evidence to support your response for this one. And also make sure that as you're citing your evidence that you are looking for those little details from your evidence to pull them out again, to repeat them, and explain how they connect back to the claim you're making. Please make sure your claim begins with the following. The author uses either counter-arguments or counterclaims, refutations, or emotional language to do what? As we read for this phase of reading, we are going to be focusing on learning target number 9 to analyze how an author distinguishes his position from that of others. We talked about how in arguments that we have claims just like in every other text, but we also have these things called counterclaims, which is where you mention the stance of the other side. And it's not a stance necessarily that the author believes in, but they are giving thoughts to the other perspective to help get individuals more likely to listen to their perspective. We also talked about refutations, which is where it's always found after the counterclaims. In the refutations, we see that the author mentions why, it's their but, where the author mentions, okay, so yes, this counterclaim is actually there, but here's why my stance is still correct and stronger than the stance in the counterclaim. So it's their but stance. That's the refutation. And you always see a refutation after a counterclaim is given. And then emotional language. We call those appeals when they appeal to the emotions of the audience or reader. It's sort of like mood, but a little different. But it's definitely not the tone coming out the page. It's the way the text or the reader, the writer, tries to make you feel as the reader. They want to get you to buy into their stance, and so they use emotional appeals or emotional language to do so. You will also be required to cite specific text evidence to support your response. Make sure it's quoted, and you have quotation marks around it, and make sure when you analyze that evidence that you are properly looking for both explicit and implicit things, post evidence, to explain and connect back to your claim. In the third phase of reading, you're reading for why the text matters. In phase 3, I want you to reread the text and answer the following question. In the speech, JFK claims the United States should play an integral role in space exploration. How does JFK respond to critics of this claim? Make sure you also cite evidence to support your response. Please begin your opening statement with the author uses, you pick what you think they use best, and then you decide to respond to critics by emphasizing, showing, arguing, describing, or implying something. Please finish that off to answer your question. As you do this specific phase, you'll be looking for analyzing the interactions between, in this case, ideas in the text, the ideas of the author versus the ideas of the critic. So please make sure that you look at the relationships between the author's ideas and the critic's ideas, and look at how the author, what they include within the text to really help to convince that critic to believe their perspective. We are also in that phase going to be citing text evidence to support your response with a quote. So make sure you have a quote, and then make sure you implicitly and explicitly explain after that quote how those little details in your cited evidence help connect back to the point you're making your claim. Go ahead and get working on this close reading.